Hey Jets fans, this is Chris Nimbley, editor-in-chief of JetsInsider.com. Here in Florham Park, Jets practice facilities, Joe Barone, staff writer. Jets get ready to play the last game of the season against the Patriots. But the big news of the day is the Jets have decided to extend Todd Bowles and Mike Maccagnan. So Jets-Patriots, we'll briefly sum that up at the end. But we're going to talk about Bowles and Maccagnan here. Right now, I feel like you shouldn't feel thrilled about this move, and you shouldn't feel angry about this move. And with the way everything was set up, with the fact that you're really not going to fire Maccagnan after 3 years, so if you were to move on for Bowles, you'd be tying him to a Maccagnan and a new coach together on an awkward timeline. Then you'd have to compete with the other 10 to 12 teams that are going to be looking for coaches. I just feel like at this point, also again with Woody Johnson, everybody should have seen this coming. Whether you agree with it or not, you should have seen this is where we were at. As soon as they got to like 4 wins on this season, and this is partly us and the media's fault for going with the 0-16 route. We created those expectations, so a 5-win season seems like such a great achievement.
Yeah.
But so either way, I don't think there's too much. You fully tie Bowles and Maccagnan together, even more so. And if in a year or two it hasn't worked out, then you should get rid of them both, replace them both, and start all over with a new GM, new coach, and go from there.
And I understand both arguments. I understand the proponents to keep Todd Bowles, and I also understand the opponents who don't want him to be back, and I get it. And I understand how you could look at it and say, all right, well, he deserves to be back because this team was projected by experts to go 0-16, and they played well over their heads. They got 5 wins this year, and that's pretty damn good for this group of Jets. And the young group, rookies all over the place. They cut half all the veterans probably from last year. So what they did was they moved forward in the right direction with a young core and with this coach. So that's why they had this vote of confidence for him. Maccagnan, I thought he did a good job this year as far as getting rid of the dead weight and then moving forward from it. So I thought he definitely deserved to be back, but Bowles was kind of up in the air. But like you said, you really shouldn't be upset about it, but you really can't be too happy about it because in the end, it's the same status quo. You know, it's going to be 5-11 perhaps, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, look, even the people who are in the keep Bowles camp and who have been in that camp can't sit here and tell you that like anything that he's done or is going to do that's so great.
No,
like
right.
That
I'm one of those guys.
Right.
I actually believe he should be back, but I couldn't tell you. One of the questions today was about, what do fans have to hang their hat on? The fact that their record hasn't been good with Todd Bowles. Well, you know what? I saw a lot of progress from the young players and the way they played. This team was stressed unity and teamwork from the very beginning, and it was a whole culture change from the years past. So that's what I was hanging my hat on.
And that's a feather in Bowles' cap there because you're talking about such a young team.
Right.
A defense that is kind of being led by 2 rookie safeties back there. We got Robbie Anderson coming in to form now. So you got all the talent, all the good players in this team are young. This is their first real year together, and people talk about consistency, continuity, and yes, that is obviously important, but the other side of that is you don't want continuity for continuity's sake. So it still has, you keep the same bad coach around, you're going to be bad.
Right.
But they're going to let him grow with this team even more. Give him another year or two, see what happens. And again, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But, and they'll make that move from there. One thing is the players are happy about this. We just left the locker room. The players are thrilled about this. Now, they're going to tell you that one of, I believe it was Jordan Jenkins says that someone asked how to sell the fans on this move. And he said that the players like it. This is what the players want. Okay, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
And they do have more information than even us, let alone fans. But I remember the players wanting Rex to stay.
Yeah.
I remember the champagne bath after that Week 17 victory in Miami that got Rex the extension. I remember that celebration. So then sometimes the players are a little too deep in the forest to see the whole thing.
Right.
So I can't really go with that, but they do love and respect him. They will follow him. They will listen to him. Muhammad Wilkerson being the exception here.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everybody else is ready to follow him. They praise him. They speak very highly of him. They think he's very smart and intelligent, and he respects them. And a huge part, this can't be ignored, is that he played in the NFL and he had success as a player. Players are much more likelier to follow coaches who have played in the NFL.
And this offseason is going to be critical for this team because now moving forward, you got another year under their belt for the young guys, and then you have a lot of cap space coming up, almost $100 million in cap space, pretty much in the top 10 as far as draft position goes. So perhaps a quarterback coming in, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see if McCagnon, because we're focusing on Bowles here, but there's also the McCagnon side. And I know I've been getting a lot of questions from fans like, why is it only Bowles we're talking about? Why isn't McCagnon on the hot seat? Because you can't keep firing GMs after 3 years. Right. And I know you shouldn't do that with coaches too, but you really can't do that with GMs because you can't even judge the rookie class until 3 years later. So you can't keep doing that. They weren't going to do that. But, McCagnon's had hits and misses. Every single GM ever does. So we'll have to wait and see. The biggest concern, what I would think Jets fans should be concerned about, is now you saw the two quarterbacks that he's drafted. And then who he's brought in, Fitzpatrick and McCown. He's drafted Bryce Petty and Christian Hackenberg. Fitzpatrick and McCown both had good first years with the teams. But there seems to be a type. There seems to be something that McCagnon is thinking, something that would lean him more towards the Josh Allen pick than maybe going for Baker Mayfield or Lamar Jackson. Do you trust Mike McCagnon to properly evaluate and get a good quarterback in the draft?
Well, you're in that position to make the right decisions, right? So you kind of have no choice but to trust him. I mean, even if you do get a guy like Josh Allen, he was projected to go in the top 10 because of the way he's had his career in college and stuff like that.
Because he's a tall white guy with a strong arm.
Well, basically,
that's what he is.
So overall, you have to look at it as, so he's had some success in college. He had some weapons taken away. Doesn't really have a supporting cast where he is. Let's see if that could translate sort of into the pros. And you just have to take a chance. I mean, you have to keep on drafting a quarterback until
you do.
Until you strike gold.
I had somebody coming at me on Twitter the other day talking about how never draft a quarterback again, basically, is what he was saying.
Do that.
I mean, the Jets can't do this. So you have to keep trying.
Yeah.
But when you take a second on Hackenberg, you trade up to take Bryce Petty, it's fair to question.
Well, let's see if Hackenberg plays on Sunday. I mean, I know Todd Bowles was saying that we'll see.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't bet on it. But, I mean, you never know. If this game gets out of hand in that first half and Petty gets hurt perhaps, or Petty just is that bad, then we might see Hackenberg for his first time in 2 years. So,
well, the good thing is we got this news out of the way now.
Right.
So, because the last couple of weeks I've had to try to tell people, keep asking who's going to be the new coach. They're not going to be a new coach. So now we got that out of the way. Now we can focus mostly on the quarterback. Or are they going to go the Kirk Cousins, try to go the Kirk Cousins route, try to do that? Or are they going to just focus on the draft? I think the draft would be the way to go. And then McCagnon can say, let me draft a guy in the first and then tack a couple years on to this because I'm tying myself to the rookie quarterback.
Sure.
So we'll see what happens there, but that's going to make for fun stuff to talk about during the offseason. Now let's quickly get to the Patriots game. Going up to New England. Patriots have to play. They want the home field advantage.
Sure.
If they lost and the Steelers lost, they'd have home field. But if Steelers beat Browns, so Patriots still need this game. I mean, there's a long injury report for us here, but, we can just jump straight into projections here.
Well, I mean, there's really no point to really say scores because I don't think the Jets are going to win this game.
No.
I think it's going to be Patriots by a wide margin. I mean, that's it about prediction goes. But let's see how these players play. I mean, now they know that Todd Bowles will be back. Let's see if they play for him for the final time of the year. Let's see if we see any more progression from the rookie safeties. Let's see if we get more progression out of wide receiver, Robbie Anderson. Let's just see all these types of things. And then, you can hang your hat on and close the book on 2017, move to 2018 with a clean slate, and then move forward.
And I know there's some fans out there that still don't want anything to do with any tank type or just lose. And I get it's hard to root against your team in the moment.
You want them to lose.
But it's
in the
week
moment
17.
Right now. Yep.
You got 5 wins. The coach and GM are coming back. You know it's going to just lose.
Right.
Try to you could end up with a top 5 pick. then you can sit there and, and potentially get one of these top quarterbacks. Go ahead. It's safe. Root for the loss. And you know what? It's what's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think overall they could get up to the top 5. So we'll see if they could do that.
Yeah. For Joe Barone, this is Chris Nimbley at JetsInsider.com. Be sure to check out JetsInsider.com for all the latest breaking news on all things Jets.